And it is talking about how the league is really, really looking to dominate Thanksgiving night. And a major part of that is putting the Chiefs and the Bills game on Thursday night.
The networks, there are certain things they get a certain amount of appearances from teams that they request and things like that. So they all go into the mix, and that's how the computer starts iterating on them. And then we start to really play around with, we were going huge on Thanksgiving, just like we did last year. We pretty quickly got to the games we wanted to see in Detroit, in Dallas, but really played around a lot with that night game. And we've never truly gone huge on Thanksgiving night, but it's hard to think we can go any bigger than KC at Buffalo that night. And it'll be really fun and interesting to see where lots of people are still together with their families. How many people are going to keep watching after the Cowboys game, after you've had your second helping of turkey, and, it's an incredible game and you want to keep watching it.
So that is the NFL Vice President of Broadcast on SiriusXM talking about the league strategy when it comes to Thanksgiving. I think that leads to the first point that I want to make today, and this is something that we have talked about as the week has progressed and as more and more of these scheduled games have leaked. Well, now it is official. There are 140 standalone and or primetime games this year in the NFL calendar. This is not even counting the 325 games, the Nance and the Romo games, which we know that window, whether it's at Fox, whether it's at CBS, they get marquee games as well. I'm talking about Sunday Night Football, Thursday Night Football, a little bit of Netflix, a little bit of Amazon Prime, all of those things. I'm talking about those kinds of standalone, primetime, premium games. Over half the season now is a standalone product. The league is telling you that streaming is going to continue to be a bigger part of the NFL puzzle. The league is also telling you that they are devaluing Sunday at noon, which has always been a staple as an NFL fan. It's not going away completely, but that is now where they put the games that people don't want to see and people don't care about. Those are the games now that they are trying to hide for the most part. They are not putting the good teams consistently and the good matchups not there. Sure, you might get a Chiefs every once in a while there. You might get a Cowboys every once in a while. But that is when those teams are playing teams that you don't want to see the matchup. That's where we'll put Chiefs and Jets. That's where we'll put Chiefs and Cardinals and those kind of matchups. But when the Chiefs play an important divisional game, we are not putting that at noon. That is just not a part of our television model anymore. So we are seeing the league change, and I think how they are delivering and how they are packaging the product. But when talking about some of these individual matchups and what really stands out to me, and we'll take the trip to Denver here coming up in a bit, I wrote down my 5 takeaways from looking at the NFL schedule. Now, we have spent a lot of time here over the last couple of days talking about Patrick Mahomes and whether or not he is going to play in week 1 of the NFL season. It should go without saying. The Chiefs start their season on Monday Night Football and Sunday Night Football. I expect him to play. Adam Schefter also believes that Patrick Mahomes will play.
Chiefs have said he is, quote unquote, way ahead of schedule. You would never bet against Patrick Mahomes, and the NFL certainly hasn't. The league has scheduled the Chiefs for the opening Monday night game of the year. The league doesn't do that unless they think that there's a realistic chance that Patrick Mahomes is going to be back. And I think the feeling is right now, you have to see how the knee is progressing during the course of the summer. But the feeling right now within the organization is that he is tracking to be ready for that Monday night game against Bo Nix, who's coming off his own surgeries on his ankle, and the Denver Broncos in Kansas City.
So we've talked about it a lot this week. I'm sure we'll continue to talk about it. To me, the league is sending a very, very big message with having Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs scheduled for week 1 and week 2 in a nationally televised window. If the league was worried, that's where you burn the Jets in week 1. That's where you burn the Cardinals for the Chiefs in week 1. The league is investing in Mahomes, so I am investing in Mahomes that he is going to play. Moving aside from Kansas City, and we'll get back to Kansas City here coming up in a little bit. I know that the average fan does not care about this, and it is not their problem. But it is comical to me how the NFL, in one vein, will talk about player safety and change rules under the guise of player safety. The officiating is governed with the idea of player safety. And then you will have the players play on any single day of the week, and you will have them traveling around the country and around the world doing this. So the only reason why the NFL is not having games on Tuesday this year is because they can't, because it's collectively bargained. NFL players, they get off days too during the season. They get days where they don't have to come in and watch film and practice and do all those things. That's Tuesday. That's collectively bargained by the National Football League. It's also payday in the National Football League. Every other day, there's an NFL game this year. Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, obviously on Sunday. The league now doesn't just want some of your time. They want all of your time, which I get it. When you are in the cash business and business is booming the way that it is with the NFL, you got to keep up those numbers, and we got money to make. What they've done to San Francisco is criminal. San Francisco travels 38,000 miles this year. That's more than double of what the average is. That's more than double than what the average is. To give you an idea, the Chiefs, they travel 18,400 miles. We're talking about an extra 20,000 more miles than just what Kansas City is being asked to travel this year. Now, I say this a little bit tongue-in-cheek. The San Francisco 49ers are going to go through 58 different time zones this year. I didn't even know there were 58 time zones on the earth until I read this story. The record last year was Los Angeles, the Chargers. They traveled across 42 time zones. The Niners traveled across 58. The Niners have the Christmas Eve game. The Niners got the Australia game. They got 2 international games this year. The league did San Francisco no favors, especially for a team and an organization that has dealt with a lot of injuries over the last couple of years. How they manage that is going to be a big deal. The NFL will usually tell us, based on how they package the schedule, who they think is good and who they think is going to be bad. Now, they could end up being wrong. I mean, that happens all the time in the National Football League. But at the beginning of the season, they are putting what they believe is the optimum schedule, and they give themselves room to move things around and opt in and opt out of games. The league is heavily invested in the Rams being good this year. The league is heavily invested in the Bears being good. Those teams already have 7 standalone games. Again, that's not counting the 325 games. I'm talking 7 standalone primetime premium football games. The Rams, they play in almost every premium slot this year. They play in the Australia game. They play on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. They play on Christmas Eve. They play on all of those premium windows. The league thinks very highly of the Los Angeles Rams. They also feel that same way about the Chicago Bears. One of those teams will lay a dud. That's just how the National Football League works. I don't know which one. You don't know which one. But I will tell you, when the league pushes all their chips in the middle of the table, usually for a couple of teams, one of those teams ends up falling on their face because that's the way that the National Football League is set up. I will give the NFL credit for this. Now, this just continues to further the NFL is WWE, and you got to follow the storylines more than anything because the storylines will tell you what's going to happen next. The NFL could have very easily hit the Patriots in week 1. They could have very easily put the Patriots in a time slot where we didn't have to spend a whole lot of time with them. But the Patriots have been in the news a lot over the last 8 weeks. Is their coach going to be there? How is the opposing team's fan base going to react, and how are they going to act to Mike Vrabel? They put the Patriots week 1, game 1 of the National Football League season. Now, I didn't ask for a rematch of the Super Bowl. I don't remember anything from the Super Bowl. There's going to be some Super Bowls and Super Bowl memories that we will see for the rest of our lives. You will never not see the David Tyree helmet catch. They will show that a million times. You will never not see the Malcolm Butler play or Marcus Allen's run or certain plays that just pop up. I can't tell you one thing that happened from that Super Bowl. I haven't heard a Bad Bunny song since that Super Bowl. I have completely stored that in the depths of my mind that I will never, ever recover that footage, ever under any circumstance. They're giving us a Super Bowl rematch, which none of us asked for, but it does have the Vrabel component week 1. I'm kind of interested. Now, one more thing here before we head to Denver, Colorado. I'm intrigued by the New York Giants. I'm not sure how good they're going to be. I'm not sure if they're going to be bad. I'm not sure if they're going to disappoint, but I'm intrigued by them. They got a new head coach, a coach who is a proven winner. I like their quarterback. Let's see if he can take a step forward this year. I love Cam Scatterbo. I wanted him in Kansas City. He's coming back from an injury. Malik Neighbors is a legitimate number one wide receiver. He's coming back. They got a lot of new faces, a lot of changes with the New York Giants. I'm interested. Now, I hate the fact that we just continue to get Cowboys and Giants every single year to kick off the season, but you know what? I am intrigued by the Giants, so I'll keep an open mind. I will. I'll keep an open mind about Cowboys and Giants, even though I am tired of watching those two teams play. But Cowboys and Giants, that's the Sunday night football game. Vrabel, the Patriots, and the Seahawks, that's the first game of the NFL season. The Rams and the Niners are playing each other in Australia to kick off the season. Monday Night Football, there's a lot heavily invested in the Kansas City Chiefs early on in the season. We now have the full picture of the NFL schedule. I wanted to give you guys some of my thoughts for week one.